Okay, we are 23, so let's start. If anybody joins later, they're gonna miss on something, but I want to say thank you to everybody who filled out the questionnaire. Thank you so much for joining us, for your interest in this. And I believe it's my first big group meeting on Zoom like this, like a free seminar thing. I never did it before, so I hope you're as excited as I am. So let's start. I wanted to start by discussing the thing that I posted yesterday on stories about 1% of people having all the wealth in the world, basically, like more than or about half of all the global wealth is in hands of about 1% of people. And according to statistics on the internet, less than 1% of artists become well known and successful at their job while they're alive. As we all know from the past times, like some of them get fame when, like, after they're gone. So behind both of these facts, that only 1% of population has the most money and finances, financial resources, and less than 1% of artists become successful, the common thing between these two facts is that those categories of people who achieve more than others, they all share some kind of mindset that's different from the majority of people. And so there will be a lot of things I'm going to be talking about today that will be a little bit more related to philosophy. And some of these things, when I tell them, for example, on dates, when I try to help people get to know my opinions and my point of view on things, sometimes people stop talking to me and they stop wanting to go on dates with me because it's too harsh what I think, because the majority of people is programmed to believe otherwise and opposite. So I'm not saying that all the people who are in this 1% or close to them, that all of them have the same mindset and the same thinking. However, like, of course, there will be variations of their beliefs and not everybody will be identical 100%. But I believe that many things that I will be talking about today, they are based on some of the books that I read of people who are in this 1% of the wealthy ones and of the people that are famous artists that already established themselves in this career. So it will be based on my own thinking, my own reflections, and those books. So I will be just sharing a model of idea how this thinking could look like. And some of these ideas, they will be provoking a lot of resistance in some of you. So you'll probably dislike what I'm saying, and probably it will sound too foreign because, again, 99% of people are thinking completely differently because they are under certain like social programs, such as educational program, religious programs, different societal standards and norms that we have. Recording to the computer, I see somebody is requesting. Unfortunately, no, but I'm gonna find a source to post this meeting once I record it, probably on YouTube, and I'll make sure to share it so you can watch it again if you want. Yeah, so let me know in the chat if you ever heard the term soft skills and hard skills. So just like I thought, about half the people didn't hear about it, so I will have to explain. So soft skills is something that is more related to psychology, to the structure of the personality that we're talking about. So soft skills will be like compassion, empathy, accountability, ambitiousness, and stuff like that. So a lot of intelligence, maybe a lot of personal traits that are more like characteristic of psychological side of the person. These are soft skills. And then hard skills in our career, for example, it will be the ability to saturate the skin very well, the ability to provide proper aftercare instructions to the client, the ability to choose good equipment, the ability to work on the design in an efficient manner. So hard skill is something more obvious and more visible, and that's what most tattoo courses will be focused on. And most of my tattoo education was before focused mostly on hard skills rather than soft skills. And when I made this questionnaire, I realized that what people actually seek is the soft skills program, because I can see that a majority of you, yes, everybody said they would like to increase their tattoo session price, of course, and majority would like to be satisfied with their quality of work more. So hard skills matter for everybody here. But I was surprised that most people also answered that they lack discipline, motivation, inspiration, and they struggle with burnout and procrastination and stuff like that. And so I was surprised, and it came to my mind that it would be great to make a call where we can talk about it, because it's a huge part of this mindset that helps people achieve success. And that's why let's get into it and talk mostly about soft skills today. I will also, during this Zoom, I will introduce a program that I was working on that is going to be something very special that I didn't see in tattoo industry at all. There was nothing similar to that. It will be a program that's mostly based on hard skills, but also involves soft skills in it. And it's going to be something like a combination of an art school, because I know in USA, where most of you are from, in USA, art school education is very expensive and not so accessible. So it's not as common for kids to go to art schools. For example, in Russia, it's very easy, very accessible, it's free, and that's why many people use it, and they can go to art schools and benefit from it. So the program that I developed, adapted to the country where I live right now, is something that includes art school program and private tattoo mentorship and tattoo apprenticeship, because I got an apprentice about 3-4 months ago as soon as I opened my studio, and I was enjoying the process a lot, and I could see how much benefit it could bring to my apprentice. And when he asks me questions, he actually gave me more and more ideas of what can be useful for other artists. That's why I came up with this program. It's going to be 6 months long. So it's a half year of work under my guidance, with a lot of topics covered. And at the end of this Zoom, for those who are interested, I will be explaining what the program will be like. And also everyone who is on this call are able to get a discount for participation if you would like. So let's go to the point of the Zoom in general. First, I wanted to share the background of the countries where I've lived and what I took out of this experience, because personality is shaped by their experiences. So I was living first in Russia, where I was born, until I was 25. And Russia taught me a lot about art, because artistic education is very accessible there, because it's a very cold country that has a lot of poor mentality, poor mindset, like people are not very wealthy. It's a second world country. And so the more poor the country is and the more cold and bored, I would say, the more people go into art to escape the reality. And because of economy, there is a very high competition between the artists. So that's why many Russian artists are so good at tattooing, painting, and drawing. And at the same time, nobody charges a lot in Russia compared to the rest of the world, because the economy is much worse. So this country taught me how to be good at competing with other artists and how to be good in art in general. Like, I got a lot of artistic knowledge from Russian art schools, universities, and courses. I went to many programs there. Then after Russia, I moved to Germany. Germany taught me how to be very structured and efficient, because Germans are known to be very punctual, very precise, very efficient, and so on. So they were completely organized, completely like productive, and well put together. They would be very time efficient. So this is something I adapted from Germany. Then I moved to France. I studied fashion design there for a year, and I had French in my school in Russia. So there was a lot of like inspiration about French culture already. And when I lived in France, I would say what I got from there is the French charm, the ability to sell products through pleasure perspective, because French people, they enjoy life, they have a beautiful lifestyle, they enjoy perfumes, wine, good food, and they're very artistically developed as well, but their perspective is more hedonistic, so a little bit more through pleasure. So that was something that resonated with me and that I took from there. And then I also didn't move, but I lived in Italy. And Italy as well, it was a country that is La Dolce Vita is their famous saying, which means the life has to be sweet and tasty. So they are also a lot about pleasure, and they have enormous progress in visual arts. They have some of the best sculptors, painters, and so on. So I was visiting Italy for many different seminars. I'm lucky that I had the access living in Germany. I could just travel to Italy very easily. And then after Europe, I moved 4 years ago to United States. And I wonder how many of you are from USA. Can you please text me in the chat what country you're from? Because I saw in Telegram there were people from India, Russia, from all over, Spain, India, Costa Rica, Italy, Romania, USA, Brazil. By the way, everybody who has some weird time of the day right now, I appreciate you finding the time for that because it might be difficult. In Austin, it's 1 p.m. For me, it was difficult too because I have insomnia and I'm getting off some medication, so I really struggle to fall asleep. But I got some hours, and usually my brain is very slow in the first half of the day until like 3 p.m. because I wake up late, so 3 p.m. is middle of the day for me or even early, but I'm feeling good. Mexico. Okay, so I see some people are from US, the majority I would say, but more than a half people are from all over. So I will share also with you who doesn't live in the USA what it gave me and why I moved here. Coffee, yeah, I had coffee already. That's not a huge help though, for people who like the night way more. But you chose the early time, so let's go. Let's stick with the early time. So why I moved to States? Because I never was able to visit USA before moving here. With Russian passport, it was very difficult to get a visa to even be here one day as a tourist. I couldn't even change the flight, so I couldn't spend even an hour in the country because of my passport. So when I started doing my work visa for USA, I had to spend like 4 years working on it and get 400 pages of proof that I was exceptional at what I'm doing to get a talent visa. So it was a real hassle. It was very long. So why did I do that and why did I go through so much just to be in the US? Is because from what I could imagine from outside living abroad, from all the books, clients, reviews, opinions of different people, and I don't watch movies almost never, so I didn't get it from the movies, no idea at all about the country. The only thing that attracted me was the ability of American people to be good at marketing, to be good at selling themselves and pushing their ideas and making everything happen the way they want it. So I had an impression that once I will end up in US, I will have automatically a stronger environment in terms of business that will again automatically motivate me to compete, to be better, to grow, to become stronger, to absorb this knowledge somehow, even passively, even just being there. And honestly, I would say it turns out that way. So I don't regret moving here, and I'm glad I found Austin. I really like it, and I would advise all of you to come guest in my studio and visit one day because Austin is amazing. It's a great place to live. So that was a little bit about the countries where I'm from and what they gave me. So it was 4 countries, including Italy, let's say 5, and 4 or 5 different qualities that they gave me. And this is the standpoint where I will be coming from. So some of the quotes I will use today, they are from books of different business people, but the one quote that I liked recently says, everything worth doing is worth doing every day. Meaning, if, for example, it's essential for you to breathe, to survive, you will be breathing every day, no matter what. If it's essential to drink water to survive, you will drink water every day, no matter what. If you know that your teeth will go bad and you will have a lot of troubles and issue and you will not be able to eat easily and you'll spend a lot of money on the doctors if you don't brush your teeth, you will brush your teeth daily and even twice and so on. So a lot of things that are worth doing, we're doing them every day. And the difference between successful people and less successful people in certain areas is their commitment and their belief that what they are doing is important. So basically, if we want to progress in some area of life, we need to treat it as seriously as we treat all of these other activities that we do daily on a daily basis. Because if we will draw for 1 hour during one day, we will not get any reward. But if we will be drawing for an hour daily, that's where the reward will start happening. So honestly, I don't say that I draw every day or that I think you should do something related to tattooing or to growing otherwise around this area, doing it daily. There are ways around it. You don't have to do it daily because, in my opinion, too, it can lead to burnout easily. However, what I do on a daily basis is I think about my goals and I'm very focused on what I want to achieve and what I want to have and how I want to live, and the idea of myself that I have since childhood, like the picture of myself that I would like to become. And I have it so clear and I'm so convinced in it that it motivates me to do every day something that will bring me closer to that. So instead of watching a movie or going out with friends to the bars, or I don't know, scrolling on TikTok or doing whatever not productive thing, automatically it became my habit since very early age that whenever I'm about to do something, I think whether it will bring me closer to my goals or not. And in general, there is, according to psychology, there is 7 areas of life. I was posting about it a couple times, some stories, 7 areas of life where if we have balance in satisfaction of these areas, we will feel subjectively very happy. So the key to happiness is having these 7 areas of life in balance. And it's very difficult and challenging, but basically everything I do, literally any activity, I always related to one of the 7 areas, and I see whether it will give me something to satisfy these areas more, like in a game, to get it higher in a satisfaction rate, or it will not. And if it will not be productive, I just don't do it at all, and I prefer to do something else instead. And this kind of discipline, motivation, and understanding is a big difference between people who are staying passive and lack motivation and don't progress, and people who achieve stuff in life. So those 7 areas will be, maybe let me type it in the chat so it's more visual. It will be work. It's not in order, like it's not like one is more important than other. They're all important. So it will be work, family. By family, it means your relationships, not your parents, but your wife or your husband or your whatever you decide to organize, like triple or whatever, and your kids. That will be your family. Then there will be friends, hobby, rest, spirituality, which includes growth and beliefs about your meaning and your purpose, something about it that you are set on, or you have to do something to maintain this in some rituals or some education, something about spirituality here. So this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1 is missing. Work, family, friends, hobby, rest, spirituality, health. Yeah. So these 7 areas, if we are maintaining them in balance, which is nearly impossible, but that's the goal, the closer we are to having them equally satisfied, the more happy we will feel. And depression usually happens from 1 or 2 or even more of these areas being drastically lower in satisfaction for us than the other areas. So for example, right now I have all of these areas very well fulfilled except relationships. So it's like 1 out of 7, and subjectively I feel pretty good still. The difference is very big between satisfaction there and there, but it's only 1 area that's missing, so it's still pretty okay for me. But for example, if I would have no friends, no job, no family, it would be for any therapist nearly impossible to take me out of depression. So that's to give you the idea where I'm coming from. And so every action I do, I wait it out and I try to understand whether if it will bring me closer to achieving this satisfaction level or not. So for example, if I want to go out with friends, I want to imagine slightly if my other areas are under control and are fine, and I really have time to go out and spend a couple hours in, I don't know, doing whatever, not productive, but fun. So it is about balance. It's not like you cannot go out and enjoy yourself. Of course you can. But in my preference, for example, I put a lot of balance towards work, way more. My work area of life is taking way more space than other areas. And personally, for me, it works well. And I feel like if you want to achieve a lot in your professional side of life, you would have to be committed there, and you would have to prioritize maybe work over many things. Not all of them, but over many things. Of course, health matters a lot as well. We cannot ignore health at all, but all the rest, in my experience, is a little bit more on the background compared to work. And it's been like that since I was a kid, because my earliest dream that I can remember is to become a well-known artist. I didn't know it would be more looking like a tattoo artist, but anyway, like I still paint, I still sculpt, so something around this was always my goal. And anytime when I feel sad or down, or the relationship doesn't work, or something else frustrates me, the spiritual part of my 7 areas of life always tells me you're good because you have your purpose, and art is everything for me. So it's a big advantage in life compared to majority of people. When you like art, it's a big advantage because there's always something that can make you happy. Like, I look at the beautiful color combinations, I feel way more joy instantly. Or I lack some meaning in life, I just want to make art, and it gives me a lot of meaning and purpose. And honestly, it's a great thing that we all should appreciate and value a lot. So let me see what was next in my plan. So everything worth doing is worth doing every day. The point was that what helps from procrastination is switching between different activities between these 7 areas of life. And if you're paying attention to every area, you will not feel burned out because you are always focused on slightly different things, but they all bring you to one goal, to your satisfaction from life. So maybe during the day you will go work out to benefit your health. Then you will go to work to benefit your work area. You will spend quality time with your family. You will spend quality time, I don't know, maybe talking on the phone with your friend. But what I try to do is I try to daily insert some activity towards work that is not tattooing. So either educating myself on business, or doing psychotherapy with my therapist, to advance my self-knowledge and my abilities, because I believe the skill set of your mental health is grown only through therapy. Not only, but it's a big, big tool for that. So that, and adding hobbies mixed with work in our case is very good, because if I am tired of tattooing, I can always go sculpt for a day, take some classes, or sculpt on my own, or draw somebody from life. And it will be not my work, it will be more towards hobby category, but it will benefit so much at my work, because it will give me better understanding of volume, it will train me how to work with colors better, and so on and so on. So what I do on a daily basis is I do something towards those 7 areas, prioritizing work and hobbies and everything around art. So that was about the sentence of everything worth doing is worth doing every day. Another quote that I liked says, "Don't hope for luck or talent." So the big thing about becoming successful is taking responsibility and getting used to responsibility, being accountable. And this is a long topic, and that's here I will be talking about one thing, why people can stop going on dates with me after that. But I will I will share some opinions about personal life where it shows the example of how you treat responsibility in general, because it translates to all areas of life, not only in work. And probably you noticed already that it's way nicer to work with responsible people versus the irresponsible ones. So, for example, there was 120 people who filled out the questionnaire, and 50 people in Telegram group about, and only 26 are now online. So the fact that you are able to follow through and you're responsible like that is already a big advantage compared to people who start something and they're going half-ass and they don't really come to the point. Like, they spend their time, they wasted basically their time on the questionnaire. It's not much time, it was a nice favor from them, but they could be here, they could ask questions directly, they could get the most of it, and they prioritized something else. Maybe it was important, maybe they couldn't make it, but in most cases it will be just irresponsibility. So how to train your skill of being responsible and accountable, because this is the key to getting everything you want in life, is taking control over what you want, and becoming responsible and proactive is by doing therapy. In my opinion, is a huge benefit. I was doing it for 10 years on and off, with honestly being rarely off and mostly on. 10 years and no regrets. Not in every situation in life it was helping me 100%, but in majority of situations it was helping me like enormously. The difficult part is to find a good therapist. Of course, you can try many different people, and not all of them will vibe with you and will be compatible with you. And to this day, when I talk about my regards on personal life, the majority of therapists will be shocked and will be like, "Oh my God," that like they're not basically allowed to say that it's crazy and it doesn't work, but I can see the judgment in their eyes that they disagree with me. Again, because 99% of population is programmed one way and only 1% is thinking differently. So sometimes if you're very sure of something, you don't need to be afraid of judgment. Because as the other quote says from one book that I liked, you're either selling or you're being sold. So if you are sold on your idea so much that it makes perfect sense for you and you're 100% sure in it, everything else will be the obstacle that doesn't matter. For example, if I want to get somewhere and I walk there and I see a wall on the way, I will just walk through the wall, basically. I'll do everything to just walk through the wall and get there. And that's the type of motivation that works for the best results. So another thing that we need to do to get to this place is called massive action. Massive action means being proactive, because some tattoo artists, for example, they get booked through social media. Some tattoo artists who don't really feel like they want to do social media, and they should feel like they want to do it, but they don't feel it. And we will talk about how to overcome this. But anyway, there is a way around. If you don't want to do social media, I know some tattoo artists that go out in an old-fashioned way. They go out to bars, they put themselves out there, and they get attention from people because they have tattoos, obviously, and it's easy to guess what they're doing. They just give their business cards everywhere. They are proactive, they are promoting themselves, and they get clients this way, more through communication rather than portfolio. Ideal situation is to do both, to not be afraid of attention and to also work on your social media a lot, because attention is our contemporary currency. The more attention you have, the more money it can bring you and the more you can do with it. And another thing that is an interesting belief is that everybody is an introvert until they're an extrovert. So sometimes it's easy to say, oh, you're more extroverted than I am, so it's easy for you to go out there and put yourself out there. But the key point is that whenever you want to become more extroverted, you will become more extroverted. So it's a matter of your responsibility and your accountability. If you want certain results, you have to understand that you have to do certain things, no matter if they scare you or not. Because being brave is not a quality trait of a personality, is something that you train with action. You teach yourself with action that you can be brave. Because whatever scares me that I want to do, I will just do it no matter the fear. I will just do it being scared. I'll just go and do it. And this way, with action, I will prove myself that I was actually able of doing it, and fear was just my illusion. And most things in life, that's what we have to do. If it scares us, it means there is the biggest potential for our growth in most cases. It doesn't come, of course, to the instinct of like not jumping from the roof. Yes, you shouldn't do that, obviously. But a huge amount of things that scare us, once we're doing them, we're overcoming this illusion that we had that it's going to be dangerous. And our brain learns only with action most of the time. So if you're afraid of flights, you need to take so many flights as you can until your brain starts seeing that it's safe and refuses to give you anxiety next time you're close to the airplane. Let's see what was next. Yes, my favorite part about personal life. I hope you don't log out the session from this. So, for example, let me know in the chat if you were ever cheated on. You don't have to say because it's very personal, but also what happens if you say nothing scary happens. Even if it's scary, you can still say yes, no. Well, as you see, it's a universal experience. That's it, only 5 people were brave. Let's practice your fear resistance. Anyway, majority of people had this experience. I see you're taking pictures or what? I know. I thought somebody is taking a photo of this amazing moment. So yes, now the interesting opinion that I want to share. Since I was a kid, I could never understand what means being cheated on. Like in my vocabulary, it doesn't exist in general. And I was following many communities around like sexual relationships, monogamy, polyamory, polygamy. I was studying them because I think this part of psychology is super interesting and it transfers a lot to your career, and all of the areas at the end, they're interconnected. So This is a deep, complicated thought, so I'll try to make it less messy. Like yesterday, I saw one post on Threads where people were talking about cheating in polyamory. Well, polyamory is something where people have multiple partners. They're in committed relationships, but not with one partner, but more. Sometimes they live as a family of 3 or 5 or like variety of combinations, but it's more committed than polygamy. Polygamy is just open relationships where people can see whoever they want. Monogamy is exclusive to partners, and polyamory can be different, but it's usually like 3, 4, 5 committed partners, maybe more. And so there was a discussion about cheating in polyamory, if it exists, how it looks, and so on, and opinions were very different. And that what forced me yesterday to develop a little bit, to reflect a little bit more on this idea, why I would never feel being cheated on as a possible verbal construction in general. And I think, yeah, I'll have to ask you first, did you ever hear about Karpman triangle? Karpman triangle. Most likely it will be people who do therapy or who study psychology or they like psychology. I can write it here so you can read about it. So Karpman triangle is a theory of somebody, I believe, with the last name Karpman, that's why it's called like that, is a theory where he was analyzing a lot of dysfunctional families, which 99% of people, if not 100%, come from dysfunctional families, especially generations before psychology was even a thing. All families are messed up in one way or another. So he was studying dysfunctional families, and he found a correlation between certain patterns in verbal communication between people and how they feel in their relationship and the amount of satisfaction they have from these relationships. And in his theory, it's called a triangle because there's 3 positions that people take, psychologically speaking, when they talk inside their family, which will be a persecutor, a victim, and a punisher. No, wait, punisher is a persecutor, savior. So 3 figures. One is saving, one is a victim, and one is an aggressor. And there's many examples to that. If you are interested and you will Google what is Karpman triangle, you will see it. But basically, whatever we say, especially what we took from our family, very often it will fall into one of the 3 categories. So for example, when I'm saying I was cheated on, I'm a victim in this moment. When I say I cheat on somebody, I'm an aggressor in this moment. When I say, oh, you shouldn't be with him because he cheated on you, I'm a savior. The person maybe didn't ask me for advice, but I'm trying to make their situation better, and I'm taking the responsibility away from them, and the balance gets twisted and fucked up. And so Karpman triangle is all about this balance and dysfunctional dynamics. And there is so much to learn about it. It's an amazing concept. And the healthy way of communicating is being away from Karpman triangle. It's also called drama triangle. So whenever there's drama, there are people either being a victim or persecutor or savior. And most of the times when 2 people talk, they constantly switch between those roles. It's not like one is always the victim and one is always an aggressor. It's always constantly switching positions, because one day your mom can be like, oh, you never call me, you never remember about me, and here she's a victim. Then she can be like, I did everything for you and you're ungrateful, so she's an aggressor immediately. So there's plenty dynamics like that. And when you take responsibility on yourself, what happens is that you can no longer believe that you were cheated on as just a sentence. It cannot make sense in your head anymore, because it's my responsibility in the relationship to create, how they say in psychology, in like the spiritual circles, they say I create a container or a space where my partner would trust me enough to tell me about their intentions, to be honest with me. It's my responsibility to choose a partner who would be maybe committed in a way that I want, maybe honest and transparent in the way that I want. And another important part here is that when I choose a partner, I'm trying to choose a partner who will benefit my life in ways that we're gonna grow together, we're gonna enjoy each other, we're gonna live happier, not worse. We're gonna have less drama, not more drama in our life. and I will appreciate the person for who they are, for their personality traits and so on. And it's not only for sex. So obviously I will choose a partner to value a lot of their characteristics, to maybe learn something from them, to enjoy their company, to appreciate their sense of humor, their ambitiousness, and whatever care they give me or attention. So there's many qualities. So if the person like they got the desire to have sex with somebody else, it doesn't make them a bad person. Of course, if we had an agreement that they shouldn't do it and they did it, yes, it's questionable. You can have different opinions, but the point of my choice of the partner is not that he would make me feel special by not cheating on me. He would be like having sex only with me, and it would make me feel so special and so different. I can make myself feel special by developing my own personality. So I feel special already for the things that I'm doing on my own that other people don't do. I don't need a partner to prove me that I'm special. So in ideal situation for me, I will talk to the partner about our needs. He will communicate his needs. I will communicate my needs. And as long as we care enough about each other and we care to satisfy each other's needs, there will not be any need and desire for sex outside of our connection, for example. And if at some point one of us started to feel frustrated in some needs and started to think maybe at some point in the future they would maybe need some external validation or something else from somebody else, they should come to me and talk to me about the needs that are not met, and we would have to come up with solutions how to make it work. And the same from my side. And so if somebody cheated on me, it means I on my end made a communication certain way in our relationship where I either wasn't committed enough myself to notice the change in my partner, or I didn't create a safe space enough for them to tell me that they're missing something and they're lacking something, or I chose the partner that is not capable of communicating his needs on the first place. So at the end, everything comes back to my responsibility. That's why I can never be cheated on, because I control the situation. If I know that it depended on me, it's in my control to change the situation. For example, if the partner, let's say in traditional term, cheated on me, and I feel like all his personality traits are no longer worth it for me. I don't know why, by the way, but let's say I devalue immediately all of his character traits after that. As soon as I'm not so special for him, I no longer need him. To me, this concept is crazy, but most people live like this. And so even if he cheated and I don't want to be with him anymore, I can notice where was my mistake in communication and try to make it different in my next relationship. So if he cheated on me, I learned my lesson and I got something out of it and it made me better. And as long as I stayed healthy after his adventures, I can move on and I can make my life better. And so my responsibility gives me my control and brings me to places better than they were. So at the end, it's not even a bad thing. And like being cheated on doesn't exist in my language because I take the full responsibility and full accountability for my own relationship. So the same translates to work. We want to understand where we are acting like a victim, where we are acting like an aggressor, we are getting frustrated with a client instead of getting frustrated on us. And so a good position to get for work is to believe that nothing happens to me, everything happens because of me. So if I want my client to act a certain way, to agree to certain ideas, I have to be sold so much on my own ideas that there is no choice for my client but to believe what I say, because I'm so sold on what I believe. So if I learn good ways to communicate with the client, it will be totally my responsibility, and I will be guiding him through the consultation the way that he will accept everything I state to him, because I'm so sold on what I'm saying. And very often for most artists, when they cannot go out there and be public on social media, or they cannot sell their own works and promote their own works, or they don't feel good about their own works, the only thing it means is that they are lacking some knowledge to be very sure in what they do, to want to sell it. So you need to be completely sold on your own product to be able to sell it very well. And to be very sold on your product, you just need to be very sure about everything what comes to your product. So how to get knowledge about your product enough to become very satisfied with it is by learning. So the simple answer is just learning. So getting more knowledge from people who already got where you want to get, learning from different books, different podcasts, different experiences, tattoo conventions, guest spots, getting tattooed by the artists you want and you like. So there's many tons of ways how to learn and how to improve, and you need to learn and improve until the point that you're so sold on your product that it's very easy for you to go out and scream about it and make everybody see it and not feel ashamed or embarrassed at all. Let me know how you feel about this session in the chat, because we are maybe halfway with it. Good. I'm happy that you're not like my dates. You're not scared of the word like, hey, people who get cheated on, it's their fault. They disappear immediately. Well, here you can see the perspective. Maybe I had more time to explain myself. So what's next? Yes, next point, once you are well, there's never a point where you're completely sold on what you do in terms of you see no room for improvement whatsoever and you don't want to learn anymore. It should always be there, like you should always seek for improvement and seek to be better than you were yesterday and so on. But at least we want to get a decent level of good self-opinion professionally and personally, which again, therapy helps with the personal part very well and also with professional part. But gaining knowledge is what helps the most, because I believe that imposter syndrome is the result of just lack of some knowledge, because you can see some mistakes in your works, but you don't really understand what these mistakes are, and you don't have answers, most importantly, how to avoid these mistakes. And so to get these answers, it's just gaining knowledge. So basically, when I was a kid and I wanted to become a famous artist, I could see my own drawings, and it's nothing like talent or, I don't know, special abilities, nothing like that. I was looking at my work, I was thinking, well, it's shit, but I want to be a famous artist. I enjoy seeing colors, I enjoy drawing, I really want to improve in this. So what I did is I went out, I found sources of knowledge, and I was learning until the point where I got all the answers to my questions, how to do things better way. And until I got so certain and secure in what I choose and why I choose, that my own work started to please my eyes, and I see room for improvement, but it's already very satisfactory to me. And the other point that comes from this stage, when you're already satisfied with your work, is that you don't have to compete with other people, because now, as you can see, the market is highly oversaturated in all the countries. Since COVID happened, since the too many tattoo artists learned how to tattoo, like many newcomers in the industry, tattoo industry changed drastically. Like it became so much harder to stay booked. It became such higher competition. People started to have to actually make it as a business and invest into advertisement. There was a lot of changes in the last 4 years. Do you agree with me? It's like very difficult for most artists, for best artists, for medium artists, for beginners. It's hard for everybody. So the point that I really liked also from one book was don't compete, but dominate. We don't have to compete with other artists. We can dominate. What it means exactly is that if somebody next door sells the same product with the same quality at the same price, you are wondering, how can I get clients if, for example, they lower their price and now it's even cheaper than my product? The difference is when people get their product at a lower price at the same quality, what people don't get is you. So the more you invest into you, into your persona, into your knowledge, into your character strength, into your qualities, the more you become special for the people who communicate and interact with you. And the more you show it online, publicly, or any other way, or on the session, the more you show your personality, the more people will be leaning towards you, and they will choose you over another product, even if you're more expensive, just because they want to be around you. Because personality matters in so many areas. It's not only in art, not only in tattooing, it's basically everywhere. The personality is what matters, because people usually buy an experience. They don't even buy this much of the product. They mostly want the experience. Not all the time, not everywhere, but it's a huge benefit that we can use, is using our own persona to sell the product. That's why when I started tattooing, many people were telling me, oh, clients, they only book with you because you have boobs. It was so many opinions like that, so many. And did it ever offend me? I was like, well, it's good. It's more for me to use. I'm glad. Like, that's it. I don't care. Other people can tattoo as good. They will not have my boobs, and that's it. And some category of clients will like that, and who cares? I don't care. I just want to get where I want to get. Why would it offend me? No idea. Probably if I would live in States, I would be more offended, because I know here people, they're way more spiritual. They're more like, oh, this and that. It's good and bad at the same time. Sometimes you don't need to overthink so much. Yeah, so whatever people are jealous about, it's good for you. It's your benefit. You can always use everything to your favor. And what helps with using your flaws, or whatever people think are flaws, to your favor is, again, therapy. Like, the more you set up your brain, your computer that you use on a daily basis, the more you set it up the way it's more efficient, the better it is for you, the stronger you get, and the easier tasks become for you, and the more fearful things you still do, no matter if they scare you, and the more powerful you become, basically. Another thing that is good to follow that comes to spirituality and our work is something that I study in tantric lessons. So tantra is something that's hard to describe, hard to give a clear definition. It's some ancient spiritual belief and form of beliefs, like a type of, not religion, but type of energetic beliefs in how everything works, which focuses mostly on life and death and feminine and masculine energies. And so there is a good saying in this kind of circles, is that you should do what makes you the most alive. So when you are thinking about some idea and it makes you very excited, and you feel this energy that you're alive and you're happy and you're like excited, this is something that, some idea that gives you energy. It means your goal at this, and your mission in this moment, is to grab this energy and ground it and make it happen, make it something material out of what you just got. Like this impulse that you got, you felt energy from it, you just need to go and make it immediately. Just go and do it. Whatever makes you happy. It's not like you don't have to have any impulse control whatsoever, but sometimes, for example, I have ADHD and I don't think I have a very strong impulse control in general, but I use it to my benefit, again, because most people, when they get good ideas, they're scared to act on it and they just never do it. But if you get an idea, it makes you feel alive, you feel happy, you feel like you're expanding your mood, and everything becomes better, and you feel like this idea can benefit other people and you can bring something useful to the world. If you feel like you're ready to give and you have this energy, just go and give it, because the more you give, the more you will get. And like natural exchange and balance of giving and getting is always going to work. It's not like you're going to do a lot of good things out of good intentions, not to people please, but to really give something what you value to the world, something you're sold on. You will always get money for it, because if you're sold on a product, it will be easy to sell and people will like it, because you will not be sold on something that nobody needs. If you like something, it means it has value, it means it's important, and if you feel happy about it, means there will be plenty of people who will also be happy about it. It's like the rule of abundance. Basically, if you feel like it's important, for sure in the world there are people who feel the same. So whenever you get the impulse that makes you feel very alive, just go and do it. Just act on it. No matter the fear, no matter the obstacles, no matter the opinion that clients only book with you because of your boobs, it doesn't matter. Like, I want to make tattoos, I want to get known with it, I'll just go and do it, and that's it. And I feel like here we already come to, 1 second. Yeah, we are already coming to the part where I wanted to talk about the seminar program for the 6 months. Before that, let's go into your questions. If you wanted to ask me some questions that are more about soft skills, because hard skills is mostly my tattoo seminars that I already have on the website, or my tattoo teaching that's one-on-one, and so on. And the 6 months program will combine both. But today we're here for the soft skills. So if you have some certain questions that are more particular, you can go ahead. I remember in the questionnaire you would also all have some questions. So if you want to bring one of them in and ask here, let's do it. Tattoo song, I'm not sure what you mean, and it's not very related to our topic, I think. Most motivating. I don't think songs have to motivate. The motivation usually comes from within. if I like what I do, that motivates me already. Or if I like to compete or dominate in the industry, that's what motivates me. If I like the end goal where I'm going, that motivates me. It's a little more internal, in my opinion, than some songs or like colors. They can inspire me, but they cannot motivate me, for example. The question about tattoo studio, I feel like today what we're talking about is mostly being a tattoo artist, not as much a business owner. But of course, there was a lot of obstacles and fears. It's high responsibility. It's different level of functioning a little bit. It was scary, but at the end, it's not that scary. Like, it's an experience that I wanted to get, and even if it scared me, I just went and did it in the place that felt right, that I want to settle in. There is a lot that we can talk about business side of tattoo studios, and I don't have too much experience in it. It's only been half year, and I had another studio in Russia for a couple of years, but it was 7 co-owners or 8 co-owners, so it's different. So we can make a separate meeting about tattoo business in the future, whenever I get more comfortable. Tips for the beginner tattoo artists with fake skin. Start practicing on real people is my tip. Because when I started tattooing, I did one tattoo on fake skin. I wanted to never touch my machine again. Then the tattoo artist who tattooed me before, he told me, let's try on a real person. Let me help you set up the station. He showed me how he set up the station, that it's healthy and safe. He helped me to do the first outlines and the coloring for like an hour. He stayed with me or less. Then he left. And since then I was practicing half year on my own, and it was already easier because the real skin is way easier than fake skin. It's good to practice on fake skin, but it's not good at the same time. It's very hard. It's nothing like the real skin. You're scared to mess up some people, I understand. But just make it for free and tell people that once you improve and you learn, you will help them cover it up and do something about it. Well, that's the only way, is to mess somebody up. Of course, you can practice on fake skin a long time until you feel more confident, but also you will never feel confident until you try on a real person. Like, you can also go straight ahead into it. Because in many ways, I'm impatient, and I do shibari as well, the rope bondage. So most people say never tie a person for the first time doing a suspension, because it's very stressful for the body. It's not so safe. People don't know what to expect. They might freak out. They might get a panic attack or feel unconscious or something like that. I like to start bondage with a suspension with everybody, because I have my reasons anyway. So I go straight to the point in many things. And maybe it's not for everybody. Maybe you want to feel 100 times more secure and practice 100 times on fake skin. I would say my second time I was holding tattoo machine was a real person, and I don't regret about it. It can be an option if you want. Okay, what kind of therapy you would advise the most? It depends on your personality type, because therapists would know better what kind of approach to choose for you. CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, is universal thing. It's like the most scientifically proven, maybe no longer, but most of the time in the last years, it was the most efficient one. There might be ways that are already better. I'm doing a schema therapy in Russian. I'm not sure in English what it's called like. But this is more a question to a therapist. I would choose somebody who is not only psychologist, but a psychotherapist as well, maybe psychiatrist as well, because sometimes they combine all of this. A psychiatrist is somebody who prescribes pills. The American people, for sure, they know what it is, but the other ones, maybe not. So psychiatrist prescribing pills, psychotherapist is doing psychotherapy, psychologist is more universal, more like wishy-washy a little bit than the psychotherapy, in my opinion. So I would go for psychotherapist. But sometimes there are good psychologists too, of course. Next question. How do you stop caring what people think about you? We all care what people think about us, of course, and we want to be liked. It's natural for people. What helps a lot to be more sure of what you're doing and of yourself is, again, therapy, because in therapy they give you the right questions that once you find answers to, you grow your self-opinion, and you basically become convinced with the image that your therapist helped you create about yourself. that you're becoming just so sure of certain things about yourself because nobody would know you better than you and your therapist. They help you create this idea of yourself that is basically unshakable. Like, because of my photos, for example, on social media, so many people, even close people, have said the word slut towards me or something like that. Not in the process of fighting, but behind my back or something like that. Because if they would say it in person in a fight, obviously we would stop talking forever in general. Not because it matters what they say, but because I don't want disrespectful people around. But I heard this word plenty of times just because of the photo styles that I like. And did I ever care? I never cared because I know I know who I am. So I just don't care. And of course, when I was like 24, 25, I had less of clear picture of what I am and who I am. And the brain develops on average by 25 years old. Once I got therapy, it became way more clear for me. All of my good qualities, all of my bad qualities, and good and bad doesn't exist in general, by the way, but something like bad qualities. Like I know my downsides, I work on them. Sometimes like this year, I found so many of them improved and changed and I no longer have them. Like a lot of fears were let them go. I don't know how to say. And I learned my good sides in therapy as well. And I learned them so unshakably that I don't care what anybody will say about it. Yes, if I will be in a close relationship with somebody, like having a family, or I'm with my clients, I'm in professional relationship. Of course, I care what people think. I want to be professional, reliable, adequate, and everything. But sometimes over time in personal relationship, you figure out maybe the other person was not really rational in certain situations. Maybe it's not you. So it's always subjective at the end. But the more you know about yourself, the less space you have to have imposter syndrome, basically, about anything. So it's just like with tattooing. If you don't feel sold on your idea or on yourself, if you don't feel confident enough, you just lack some knowledge about yourself or about your work or about how to do your work. So that when you get your knowledge, you will be at the point where there will be no room for doubt. That's the goal. Like that's where we want to get. We still have half an hour, by the way. That's perfect. Yeah, so some more time for questions, then I'll talk about the program. What's important about keeping artists at the shop as the owner? Again, this is separate topic about tattoo studio. It's not about tattoo artists being tattoo artists. So I will have to skip this for now. Constantly get clients asking for large projects. They don't want to invest in multiple sessions. I tell them I can do as much as I can in one session. How do you manage to have clients to commit for multiple long sessions and not rush? Do you rush to meet their budget? One interesting quote too about the budget is that usually when people don't buy something because it's too expensive, it's not because of their budget, because we all overstep our budget. We all overspend. We all spend way more than we would like to spend. Like the limits that we have in our head, like I'm planning to spend on this maybe $100. If you see the value of what you get, you will be ready to spend 2,000 on it easily. If you don't have money for it, in some situations, you will even go and borrow, even if you're not American. Because that is a big thing here, but not everywhere. So how do I convince clients for big projects? Honestly, I feel surprised that I have so many big projects. But yes, it's partly because I'm probably good at convincing them for big projects. So one thing is you have to be completely sold on your idea to be able to sell to others. So I believe that realistic tattoos, they look way better when it's a full body part rather than one spot that has backgrounds and empty space around them. So I give them this idea and I tell them that your tattoo is going to be forever for the rest of your life. And the amount of sessions you're going to get right now, it doesn't have to be limited by your budget. Just plan for the future, know that you will come back and you will end up with a sleeve, because most people, they always come back and they like to have it more completed. So we can like respect your budget. We want to agree with the client. We can respect what you wanted to spend. We can stay with one session right now. But for me to make a good composition for your arm for the future, for you to not regret your tattoos in the future, I need to plan the whole composition in advance. So let's take a look at it. Let's spend time. It's included in the session. You don't have to pay for it. Let's plan out your whole arm or your whole leg or something, whatever you're working on. And as soon as we get the full design, you will let me know where you want to start, which part you want to make, and I'll let you know what can be done in one day. And this way, they already see the whole concept, the whole project, and then it's just a question of their impatience, like how soon they will be back. And in most cases, they are back sooner than later because they already have the product in their mind. They are already inspired with the idea, how cool they will look with it. They already feel your security in how great it will be once it's done. And they just want to be around you because you're sure in what you're doing, because you're a professional. How to deal with difficult clients, what to do if the clients wants to change the design completely when you finish designing the piece. This question, unfortunately, takes a lot of explanation. It's not like I can say it in one sentence here. It's a lot. The main idea behind it is you need to be sold on your idea to be able to convince. If you are not sure of what you did and what you designed, it will be harder to convince about it. In most cases, if you consider the preferences of the client and you make the design with being sure in your every choice, you will be way more capable of convincing the client in your ideas, because the difference is that the client, he's not a tattoo artist. He doesn't know how it will stay over 10 years on his skin, but you know, because you work with the skin and he doesn't. And when you tell him this and that picture will stay longer for many years and will stay and look better, and this picture that you picked will look like shit in half year already, and it will only be good for a photo, but the skin is different from paper. On the skin, it's not gonna last like this. Because of this and that, and you explain him your reasoning behind it, and you're saying, okay, these images that I created, they will look better because of this and that. So the more you know your choices, the better you can communicate them. You explain, like, I chose it because of this and that, and they will also last you like over 10 years and they will not change. So I will be responsible for my quality. I'll be satisfied with my quality that I gave you, and what you paid for will be like worth it. And they have nothing to say against it because they don't know what will be lasting 10 years and what will not. So that's very easy. You just use something against them where you're knowledgeable and they're not. So the knowledge is always the key answer to many problems, to most of the problems. Because if I go to a surgeon and he knows that he cannot make the surgery this way, but he has to do a different way because it's the body, and I'm not a doctor, I have no clue how it is, I will trust him. And the same with tattooers. Like, we work with the body, they don't know the body. So we have a huge benefit here. How do you manage stress not to become a creativity motivation killer? So that the stress doesn't kill the creativity. I feel like to have less stress in life, exactly those 7 areas are something that you have to chase and try to have fulfilled, to have less stress, because they include health and rest. So as you remember, it includes basically enough hours of sleep and enough hours to rest and reset your nervous system, because of course health is very important and it comes first before the work. So stress will kill your creativity and motivation if all your areas of life are already kind of messed up a lot. And to learn to regain that balance, it's not going to happen by me telling you how to regain this balance. It has to be your therapist and your own thinking about your life, how to balance it out, how to get more rest into your schedule, how to get better sleep, and so on. It's like a big work towards this. It's not like in one sentence I can tell you, oh, it's easy to live without stress. No, I have stress and I just stay productive with it no matter what. And when I don't manage the stress well, like it happened to me in New York 3 years ago, I got a very bad mental breakdown from too many stressors at the same time. For me, the only thing that helped was already medication, psychiatric medication. Without it, it was impossible. At that point, I didn't have enough tools from my psychotherapy how to overcome this amount of stress, because there was a lot of factors at once. Then medication, and now I know that medication can save basically any situation. Wherever I feel, whenever I feel super drained, depressed, anxious, and completely incapable of being focused on anything, there is medication that makes me very calm and focused, and it's not Xanax. It's something that you take long term, that it's more safe long term, that doesn't get you too addicted. And so now it's been 1.5 years that I'm using the medication. 1 month ago, I managed to quit one of them. It was 2 medications, so I quit one of them. That's why my insomnia is back. But in general, I'm coping quite well. And the other medication I now lowered to half the dose just to maintain it. And my therapist said I need like a year more to not build resistance to this medication. Otherwise, if I quit it sooner, I will be tolerant to it too much in the future. So it will not help me if I will need it again. So in a year, I can quit it basically. So it's not forever. It's not like I promote being dependent on medication for the rest of your life. And I think in most cases, you don't need that. Even if you have certain diagnoses like borderline or bipolar or any other mental health issues, I believe in most cases you need medication just as a temporary thing to regain your balance and to fix your areas of life and to feel better. So yes, stress factors, there is always stress in life. So of course we have to learn how to deal with it. And if we cannot deal with it, there is medication as a temporary help. If I sacrificed any of the balance for my work in the beginning of the career, I still do it, to be honest. So it's been 2 years since I did my first tattoo. And when I gained consistent amount of clients, 2 years, I had 0 days off. It was like this, 0 days off. It was a different time. It was easier to get more clients. Right now, probably if we want, we cannot have clients every single day because the industry is different and the market is different. It's a little bit different time. But if you can, I would work a lot. In the beginning, like my apprentice, I try to push him to work as many days as possible. And if he doesn't tattoo, to paint as many days as possible so that every day you're doing something for development of your art, to get the most answers to your questions, to get the most knowledge so that you're more and more sure in your work. Question about feeling stuck as an artist. If you're stuck as an artist, it means you are a little bit probably disconnected from the impulses that make you feel the most alive, because we always get some stimulation from outside, and if we don't block it, we will notice it. If you block it, maybe you have too much stress, and so you need therapy or something to balance it out. Probably you have some circumstances in your life that you organized that distract you too much from things that make you happy. So it's just rearranging your life. It's a very global question. I cannot answer this in one sentence. And if you feel stuck as an artist, like what helps a lot is moving to different countries, changing your environment, doing something that scares you, going through new experiences in general, getting new friends who bring you new ideas, who are more productive, more efficient, more successful, more interesting, more smart, that motivate you, that inspire you, that force you to grow. Going through strong changes, like doing something that scares you, is a lot of things. These things, they will help you loosen up and get a lot of energy liberated once you get more free of your fears. About tattooing, translating to painting and darkening colors, this is more hard skills. This is a lot of my tattoo educational programs, and I will talk about this half-year program. It will be there as well. How living in New York affected me as an artist? Honestly, not too much. Not too much. It gave something, but not too much worth sharing, I would say. That's why I left New York as soon as I could. If people respond you by arguing often, do you mean clients? If you mean clients, because here we talk mostly about tattoo industry, a good hint would be to always agree. For example, if your client says, I think this is, I don't know, too expensive, you can agree and then show them the value of what you're offering, the way that they have no room to say, to not see the value, to not to change their mind on their own. Like you can agree and then show your point after that. Because if you start arguing, they will get more aggressive and defensive. So it's kind of a manipulation, but I read that it helps. I didn't start applying it too much. But I lost some clients on disagreeing with them too often. And I feel like if I would agree with them and then choose show my point, probably they would stay and it would be better, probably. Okay, we finished with the questions. Thank you. So now I will just go quickly through the program for the 6 months, what it will be like. It will be every week one Zoom call that is going to be 2 to 3 hours, like a private lesson. The group will be maximum 8 people, 8 participants only, because at the end of the 6 months, we're going to have a 3 days event in person. It's not mandatory to be there because not everybody can come to States. If you want to take the program and you are doing it online from another country, you will study for 6 months, and I will make sure to make you see the event in person on video. But ideally, of course, if you can join in person for the 3 days event, there will be tattooing. Everyone in my studio, we have 8 stations. That's why it's only 8 people. So it's more focused, my attention on every student separately. So it will be tattooing in person plus some more lectures, more on the soft skills. The rest of the programs, I'm going to go over it soon. So the Zoom calls that will be once a week, it will be with me giving a lecture. Then there will be one weekly Zoom call of the group of 8 people to make homework, to exchange ideas, to build community, to give each other inspiration and motivation. And then it will be once every 3-4 weeks control call where I will just ask your feedback, how the program goes, where you feel more stuck, where you need any help. So the topics of the Zooms will be volume in drawing and painting, perspective and measuring, and horizon in drawing, using the horizon to understand perspective in general, then talking about aerial perspective, which helps us with depth in the image. Then it will be exercises with drawing, ink, and how they help to apply it to tattooing. Next will be tattoo saturation, how to achieve good saturation on the skin. Tattoo equipment, how to choose tattoo equipment, what do I suggest the most, how to handle pain with the client, what painkillers can be used and what painkillers shouldn't be used, how to psychologically treat with the client in pain, treat the client that is in pain, and what to do and what to not do about it. Reference selection, so how to choose tattoo references, how to create the design. It will be one Zoom call. So each topic will be 2-3 hours on each topic every week. Reference selection, how to choose best references for tattooing. So then skin and aftercare, how to physically work with the skin, how to adapt to its reactions, and how to do aftercare. Next will be interaction with the client before, during, and after the session. So psychology of selling on the idea, psychology of providing your service, and psychology of staying in touch after the session. Next will be booking, posting, and editing. So everything that comes to social media, self-actualization in social media, marketing, engagement, and how to gain clients, how to also what to do for better Facebook advertisement working. Next will be basics of composition and graphic design. Then it will be composition of a large-scale tattoo, optics and how to forget color wheel and understand color balance and color combinations, what mediums to use for painting, chiaroscuro effect, or how to work with light and shadow, how to transform photo to a better reference for tattooing and change it, so to tattoo better than what you see on the photo. And I will send you this program later. When I will be posting about it, I can send everyone the program so you can read it. Next will be head structure that we need to use for a portrait, facial features, skull anatomy, muscles of the figure and muscles of the face, realistic textures in tattooing, control of the values in tattooing, and there will be exercises and homeworks. And at the end, in person, it will be more about selling and more about marketing and psychology around tattooing. There will be tattoo critiques as well, and more about burnout and more about advertisement. So for the price, it will be 23 calls during the 6 months, 23 Zoom calls, plus 24 hours spent in person on the 3 days event, or recorded for your online, like watching it. So it will be a total of 75 hours of my time. When I teach students one-on-one, An hour of teaching in tattooing costs $300. So if we would count 75 hours of private teaching, it would be 22,500 for this kind of education. So since it's in a group, it will cost $12,000. And for the first 4 people who sign up, 3 people from, for example, this Zoom, and 1 person who will repost about the course, they will get it for 9,990 for the first 3 participants plus 1 from online from just winning it. I will text more about this because now maybe by listening you didn't understand everything, but the program, I will send it out. The website link for the course will be ready soon. You can think about it. You can send questions if you have them. And for today, that was all I think that I wanted to share. Let me know if you have questions or feedback. And I will also upload in the Telegram group a picture that you can repost today about the course. And one of the people who reposted it will be a winner to participate at a discount as well. Plus the 3 people who will be the first ones. No questions? Thank you for all the messages. Thank you so much. Hope you have a good day and come stronger into your tattoo environment and more confident and look for more knowledge. Thank you so much. Have a good day.